Across the Park podcast is proud to be sponsored by Globe Gas and Heating. For the best kitchen and bathroom renovations, boiler servicing and repair, and central and underfloor heating in the Northwest, head over to globecentralheating.com and quote Across the Park for a free quote. Hello, welcome to Across the Park podcast. Myself, Ian Mills, in the amazing Pod Cafe studios, joined by, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Gary Judge. We do want to just thank Pod Cafe for having us in. It's half term and we're in early on a Tuesday morning. So thank you to those guys, and thank you to the amazing Globe Gas and Heating, the sponsor at the start of that video. We keep promising them a new advert, and we're going to do it because he's promised us, Judge, new hoodies. So we're going to be rocking some hoodies, thanks to Globe Gas and Heating.
Nice.
Yeah.
Decent this hoodies as well, to be fair.
They are decent.
Yeah.
And maybe we can just start looking a bit cool. I know you always look cool, and I'm rocking the Ver today, so I'm trying to look cool, but it'd be nice for me to look a bit cool. But thank you for clicking the thumbnail. Thank you for watching Across the Park podcast. We are going to be talking all things the run of form the Blues are on, which is just unbelievable. I want to talk to Judgy about his feelings on Goodison Park. First of all, Judgy, there was a big test event last night at Bramley Moore. As you can see, I've got the Bramley Moore cold. It was freezing.
Yeah, you were saying that, weren't you? And obviously, yeah, I seen you got a video up. So anyone who hasn't seen it, Millsy's posted a bit of a vlog. That's what they call it, isn't it, Mills?
An attempt at, yeah.
A vlog. No, it was good. It was a good effort. So that's on our channel. So if you go across to our channel, it should be either below this video or at the top, depending on when you're tuning in. But yeah, it's in there. It's good little insight. But again, if you don't mind, Mills, as a fan who wasn't fortunate enough to be at the first test event, I'm going to be at the second one. Just a few questions. So first and foremost, you went for a drink, I think, before the game. What was that like, and what was the kind of the feel like outside the stadium? And
do you know what? It was one of those. Have you ever took the car somewhere and regretted it?
Yeah,
because you wanted a couple more points. So obviously, I took Noah. And I don't know whether I should say this or not, but let's just be honest. There was no parking regulations last night, so I just parked by the stadium. Shouldn't, but I did, because we heard that there was no parking attendance. That wasn't enforced, but that's not going to be the case. So walked to the Bramley Moore and I thought we'll get shandy and a Coke, bag of crisps, and it was chocker.
Was it?
It was chocker. They were playing the Everton songs. So the Bramley Moore pub have latched on. Like, they've got, like our studio with the Everton photos, they've got them all up, and they were playing the Everton songs.
Does it look smart?
It does look smart. Yeah. It's an Everton pub. It's now an Everton pub completely. And I don't know whether it's owned by a Blue or a Red, but I know
the lad who owns it. He's not a Blue, but
fair enough. He's cashing in. He's not soft then, is he? But no, Bramley Moore, I seen a couple of other vlogs from a few people last night. The Murphy's Distillery has a queue to get in. They locked out. They've since tweeted this morning that they're going to get a second bar in there. So it's sort of test events for the pubs. I think the Bramley Moore, it has got additional space as well.
Going to need it. Only 10,000.
We know the guys at the Hot Walk as well. They've got a pub that wasn't quite ready last night, but they're going to be opening it. But there's 10th Street Social as well.
Yeah.
So from what I seen, the Bramley Moore pub was locked out. 10th Street Socials was busy. Murphy's was locked out. So straight away with 10,000 fans. If you want to get a drink or you want to get a chair and sit your little boy or girl down, you're probably going to have to get the ground early.
Well, I was going to say that the thing is that past the idea for the club was to encourage people to get in there early and obviously make it easier to be served. That wasn't available last night because there wasn't alcohol. But was there any refreshments? I've seen people having cups of tea and stuff.
Yeah, there was. So the fan plaza. So when you walk in through the Dock Road gates, and I want to give a shout out to the stewards who were great. It was always going to be a challenge last night, and they filtered everybody in safely. And there was queues building up at times. People wanted to go in first, and then you didn't have a queue, and then you had the builds up when it got later to get in. They were great, and everyone, like you rightly said, wanted a photo. But the fan plaza area was used as like a walk to the south stand. It was like we'll funnel you through it to the south stand. Don't really go anywhere else. And once you got in there, the refreshments options were really good. I mean, you'd love it.
Before you do go in, I was going to ask you in terms of the fan plaza. Was there anything? Did it look like anything was going to be around there? Because there was obviously talk of
last night. It was just space.
Yeah.
So we've seen the drawings, we've seen the designs that there's going to be I think it's the biggest one in the Premier League or the biggest one in
Like
England.
a fan zone.
Big, massive fan zone with the carts and the stage and stuff. It could easily fit there, easily. If they do that, if Everton do that, then they will naturally get fans in because I don't think there's a lot around there at the moment.
So go on, as you go in then. I mean...
You'd have been in heaven because the first thing I seen was salt and pepper chicken tenders. And then it was like gourmet sausage roll, gourmet hot dog. So I don't know whether you can get a pie in a bovril still. You maybe can, but I've
seen a pie with mash and peas and stuff.
Yeah, the food options have gone up. But the actual concourse itself, it's like being in an arena. So the South Stand's upper last night. We had the big glass looking at the
across the city. Yeah.
Across the city, you've sort of got a big massive bar food stall in the middle of that, and then another space behind it to get to your steps.
Was it? Because I mean, you made a good point. It was full, wasn't it? That stand was full.
Yeah.
What's it feel like? Was the queues and stuff? Was there a lot of queues? I no alcohol is obviously going to be different, isn't it? But
yeah. I don't think they quite had the license for that. I think they might have it for the seconds, but people were still generally using the facilities. So people were having a coffee or a tea, and they were eating.
What was it? How many deep was it? Getting a bit.
It wasn't that. There was that many food outlets that it was easy.
Nice.
There's lots of toilets. So the toilets are on the wall where the steps go up are similar to where they are at Goodison. And then opposed to being against the wall where the food stalls are at Goodison,
they kind of pop
they're in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And then at either corner, they've got two big, more massive ones. And it's TV screens and it's a self-serve thing where you put your cards on and the staff are just serving whatever you've ordered. It's really, it is, the concourse was like
what's the TV screens like KFC and Mackey's and stuff where you select your stuff?
That just comes up where it's just modern. I can't really describe how it is. The staff will ask if you order, it'll come up on the screen and stuff, and then you verify.
Oh, it's just like the till. The till is like a screen.
Yeah, but it beats the Paddock and the Low Bullens.
Yeah, but I mean, I was going to say, because Goodison obviously is a different experience in every stand at the moment, but it's fair to say that the Park End's probably blessed with the best.
Yeah, it's the most modern.
But that's still a struggle, isn't it? You're still talking 10 deep.
Yeah.
I mean, that Guinness machine, which is really popular in the Park End, is a nightmare.
Yeah. So, do you know what? I didn't see, maybe they will have the self-serving alcohol stands, but maybe they will. There was nothing like that last night. But it didn't need it. It wasn't somewhere like last night. We all need to go to the match to have a pint with your mate who doesn't. But it wasn't about that last night. It was about can we see how the food is like, and we see how big this place is. And almost everybody who was walking up the steps to the seat was recording it. Everybody was.
It feels like a little bit. It's like they built a new housing estate. Loads of people have bought houses in the estate, and it's like an open house.
I think you've nailed it with that. It was. Everybody was just excited just to see everything about it. Like someone commented that there wasn't hand dryers in the toilet yet, and I was like, people are looking for the detail. You know, people are actually looking to see if everything's perfect, and it's not going to be perfect on test event 1, but I think it was as close. I said on a video last night, Everton deserve a lot of credit for how they got everyone in and out safely last night, because that's the challenge. This stand has not yet had people in it. Can people sit? Can people enter? Can people exit? Can they go to the toilet? Is the food okay? Can then people get back to the seat safely? And
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, honestly. I mean, from an operational point of view, the only thing I've experienced that's come close to that is opening like a college or a school or whatever, and this is like with 100, 200 capacity. It's stress when you have like the first 20, 30 people in, and you're like, and people go, oh, this is just happening. All the little minute things, as you say, that come up that you're not expecting. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. It was funny to hear someone say that, but the hand dryers, it was so funny. But yeah, I think the main point to say is the view in there. We had an allocated seat, obviously, but I tried as much as I can to walk around and try and get a view. There isn't a bad seat in there.
Yeah.
I could see where you're sitting in the east next, and I could just see. I didn't realize how steep that east stand is.
Well, that I know, and that's something, because it was stress, weren't it, when we were buying our tickets, and everyone have went through it in the various different WhatsApp groups and looking at that little view thing. But then when I spoke to someone at the club, they were like, don't be fooled by whatever row 10 and thinking it's like row 10 in the family enclosure. Row 10 is a lot higher, or row 15 is a lot higher than what it used to be, or what it is at the moment.
And there's a lot of space as well. And I know because we take our kids down the match, we tend to move around because we have to, and other areas are good, some are tighter than others. There's no tight areas. It's like the space, and it's one of those stadiums where the back of someone's head is almost on your knee level, and then you still got space. It's so steep. And
I mean, if you're saying that,
I was fine. I was 6'4". I was fine, and I almost felt, in a weird way, I felt a little bit. The concentration wasn't really on the Everton under-18s a lot, and it was only a friendly, but it sort of became secondary, the result. And I know the Wigan player who scored first done the six times, and I was fine with that. I said to some lads who weren't too happy, I hope his dad's here and his brothers are here.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Wigan and Everton, it's a close. The academies are probably, you probably know more, the academies are probably close.
The chances are, and I haven't seen the story, he's probably at least been on trial at Everton before, or maybe even been released by Everton, because that's generally how it goes, is particularly Scousers, they'll be at Everton or Liverpool when they're younger, or maybe Man United or maybe Man City, they'll get released then, and Wigan's like the next level down. For
it to be Wigan, those academies are quite close, and I think there's lots of blues and reds naturally in there. Yeah. And I was all for that. I think most in there were okay with it. Like, it's fine. A little bit of a boo and that. And someone said, it only took us 10 minutes to boo.
I remember back in the day, actually, about 10 years ago, there was a lad who I used to coach at Liverpool, and he went to Wigan, and he's a big red, and they drew Man United in the FA Youth Cup, and he done that at Old Trafford. And the United fans actually... Yeah, what
17-year-old is not gonna do that. But I think the next test events will be big. I think when you go, I think...
25,000, isn't it?
It was 10 and now it's going to be 25 when you
that's what I mean,
go.
25
so,
one,
and I think all 4 stands in operation. So I think you're going to be able to...
It's all allowed, isn't it? I think for the next one.
I don't know. But you're going to be able to walk around into every stand. I couldn't do that last night. You're going to be able to walk around and see...
Funny, they've actually put me on the same row as my season ticket, only about 20 seats down, which is mad, because like obviously we...
Yeah.
I think we got I'm sure we got the seats before I actually got my season. Oh no, maybe it was close, but it was just a coincidence. But I can't wait. Yeah.
But I'll be interested to speak to you after it. I know there's no date yet. It's either end of March or early April. But I think once you're nearly, it's going to be almost 3 times the crowds. Yeah. And I think it depends where you can then go and get a drink, where you can park.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. They may plan it so they've got the license by then, because that's another. I think it's another kettle of fish, isn't it? Having fans who are sober, drinking tea and coffee and whatever, to having fans who are having a few drinks is another element of safety and risk, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you got a few fans in there who had a few drinks last night because the pubs were busy. I got there just after 5, but you couldn't get one in the ground. You couldn't get a half-time one.
That's why a lot of people probably got off.
And I think, it was... The reason people got off is it was freezing. Yeah. Honestly, like... Do you know that cold slap of winds that gets you on the waterfront? The thing is,
I live in Crosby, so I know what that's like. Like, you go to the front when it's a bitter night, and it has been cold recently, and it is freezing.
But I've seen some other channels talk about, like, can Everton do something about this? I don't know what you can. I don't know what you can.
No,
like,
you can't play in the club for how cold it is.
No, I don't.
You're on them. Like, you know what? Where the stadium is, let's be honest, the stadium's in the Mersey.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, it's on a dock.
You're in the Mersey. They filled it in, so it was in the Mersey.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that the dock has been pushed out anyway. It's been created, so that little dock was formerly the Mersey. Yeah. So the stadium is in the river.
It was funny. You heard the little shouts last night, just like, should have put a roof on this, and everyone started like, and that's part of the test events. They're going to get used to it, but honestly, you're going to have to wrap up cold day. You're on the waterfront with that cold snap. Get your coat on. But you can't moan about that.
No,
we all knew. Look, is that area the best place? Take the most note of it to put a football ground? Probably not. It needs regeneration, that area. It needs a lot doing to it, and that will happen over the next decade, 2 decades, and our kids will benefit from that.
Just the last one before we move on. Steve Rotherham's been getting some pelters over the transport and the logistics. I mean, you were critical of it yourself to some extent.
Yeah. I was critical of it without being there, which is sometimes unfair. Third party criticising, but I know people who had a nightmare at Sandhills last night.
I mean, it's worrying for me because that's going to be my way of getting in and out, because from Crosby, I was thinking that's sound that.
I think
one line.
I think what happened last night just didn't help, and it's probably going to happen again as the Ormskirk line got cancelled, or some sort of time on the Ormskirk line. And what that done is just made a very small train station become full of people who were trying to get the early train, and then the people who were coming to get the next train join them.
And the other thing,
and the facilities around here, there's nothing.
No, I was going to say the other thing you've got as well, which you won't get as much on a normal match day, is very few people staying out after the game. People just dying to get home. So it's like freezing and all that stuff. So yeah, and again, I think there was criticism of Steve or Mersey travelling, whatever. 10,000 people in an arena, they were probably treating it as, okay, we have 10,000 people in the arena all the time.
Echo,
in the Echo or the M&S arena as it is now. So maybe they were a bit naive to that, but again, I guess it's a test event. It's lessons learned, hopefully. And one of our mates actually said, who's a red in one of our groups, so they said they'll probably do what they do at the races and stuff, and you know they will roll some other things out.
But what they did do, just to, I know people who might be going to the second test event might want to know about this, is at Sandhills Lane, they completely closed.
What's going on?
Falling down. Every time I talk, the stadium, the studio falls down. The Dock Road was closed. It became footpath only. You know, on County Road, sometimes when the brick overspills and County Road gets closed, it was like that. That became feet only. So there's no traffic outside the grounds at all. And I think it was from just before the Titanic. It became one lane for a little bit, and they tried to funnel the walking people from town onto the roads. The bike path and the sidewalks are too small. You've got to use the Dock Road to walk on.
I mean, that's...
When you get 52,000 people going in left, right, and straight, it's gonna be a bit of a slow walk. Like Goodison's lucky. No matter where you leave from Goodison, you can get out. You get on the main road. Yeah,
get the ferry in.
Well, that's the thing as well. There's only one way out. There's only one wall. So if you're sitting in the, God love you, you're in the west. You've got to walk to the east. Yeah. No, I mean, if you're in the north or the south.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to be in the east. Is like, I couldn't think. And
nothing can be done about it. There's no point moaning over it. The stadium is where it is.
Yeah, you're locked in. Yeah.
I think we're going to be... It's an amazing stadium. I think when you're in there, and if
it's a culture shock, isn't it?
Yeah, if Everton can get a good team on that pitch, I think it's a place where it can become magical. Logistically, getting to and from is going to be very different.
You wouldn't have got a feel for it last night in terms of the acoustics, or maybe you did.
Yeah, so it was good.
Did it feel like...
So we had Rossi giving the big Michael Buffer, and you could hear him. The sirens were loud, the Z cars were loud, and when the South End did sing, it was loud. So yeah,
that's good.
We've got mini judges in the studio.
Yeah, if you can hear some like huffing and puffing in the background, or like
props.
For some reason I decided to get hula hoops, who are probably the loudest crisps that anyone can eat. So if you hear any crunching or huffing and puffing in the background, that'll be Oliver, my son, and my daughter Arabella is in the hot seat.
She's doing the editing for it. She's doing a brilliant job, and possibly you might see one or two on the podcast at the end. So stay tuned. You've seen my son enough time to see Judgy's, but. Judgy felt a little bit to me last night like I was cheating on Goodison when I got in. She's still there. She's still ours.
She is. Alive
last Wednesday was just... We've done the instant match, and this is our first studio podcast since. And Palace has been since, and we'll talk Palace. But despite... You know, like Virgil said, it was a cup final for us. We won 2-2. It was all the good stuff. But if you look back now, and there's some of the videos that came out where Evertonians, the Gladys Street... closed the final Merseyside Derby with, I guess that's why they call it the Blues, some of the videos. And it was a good night, wasn't it? And Everton's done really well as well.
It was a good night, and I think that's a good point. We forget the team actually played well, and you know, I'm being biased, I thought we were the better side. I think you look at the save or lack of the Pickford had to make versus the last derby. Actually, I think he was, if he wasn't man of the match in the last derby, the one we won 2-0. He was certainly close. I think he made 7 or 8 saves, good saves in the last derby. He had to make one, maybe. The one he tips over at the Park End.
An important one at that point, at 2-1. Still an important... Like,
you
call upon him, and he tends to save you.
Definitely. But yeah, it was a good performance. And I think, look, if that was a finish 2-2 and it was an equaliser in the 60th minute, I don't care who you are, and Reds might argue with this, that's not the celebrations you would have seen.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
care who you are, what club, who you're playing against. Scoring a goal that late in a game, whether it's an equaliser or a winner, that late always gets celebrations. I don't care. But when it's the last Merseyside derby at your
Yeah.
stadium, the oldest stadium in the Premier League, it means more than that.
But you know what? I half agree with you there. So I half agree that any derby across the country in a last minute winner of some sort. But I'm a little bit different in where that was special. That's an Everton thing now. Like they can laugh all they want. Their heads have fell off. Heads have fell off. They act like they don't care. They care. They were singing, we won the league, then they all got off straight away.
I videoed that as well.
Heads have fell off. They tried to put banners up. And I don't want to make this too much about them, but I'm just saying it because the reference and you know, he's over the top. We were over the top. This is Everton Football Club and it's special. It's special. And that's why it was over the top, because it was Goodison Park and it was special. So I do agree you would have seen it. But I'm bloody proud of the fact that our players, Abde Decore, was riling them up.
Yeah,
I'm proud of the fact that we reacted. I loved it. That was Goodison.
Yeah.
That was Goodison Park.
We've said it before, haven't we, in particular as well. This is not, by any shape, the best group of players we've seen. And this group, and certainly a few members of this group, have come in for some serious criticism for lack of heart, lack of passion, and all that. They give us that in abundance. And we complained, certainly used it, not as much me, but certainly used it, about Sean Dyche disrespecting Goodison in its last season. Yeah. David Moyes has brought that respect back, hasn't he? And that kind of passion and that emotion back. And the players have fully bought into it.
Just to stick on that, and we're veering off subject, but I think it's important we speak about it. What has he done? What has, honestly, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, he's somehow got us further up the pitch. We're somehow having... I don't really know what he's done because the personnel is the same. Can you see obvious changes to what he's done? Or?
I can't. I don't think you can see how people feel. You can't. Do you know what I mean? I've said it a few times in this podcast. They just look happier. They look like a happier group. I think it got to the point where it was almost like, you know, Sean Dyche was bullying them, borderline bullying them. I don't know if you can see Oliver getting up there.
Yeah, Minnie just walking around.
He couldn't help it. I almost feel like he got to the point where he was becoming a grumpy school teacher, and just and the players weren't enjoying it. I mean, Beto's comments speak volumes. He hasn't mentioned Dyche, but what he hasn't mentioned pretty much tells it all. Yeah. He said, you know, David Moyes and his staff are making me feel they're trying to get confidence. They're reminding me of the things I do well. They're not emphasizing the things I don't do well. And it's like it's basic psychology, like basic man management. But maybe that's it in a nutshell, is that he's trying to manage them as individuals, trying to get the best out of them, trying to remind them of the things they do well. Sorry, Oliver, you need to sit down and stay there, okay? He's like wandering around like it's a sleepover or something. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, I think he's just got the group enjoying coming to training, enjoying getting and reminding them of the things that they've got in their favour and in their corner, which is the fans, the stadium, the history of this club, and hopefully himself as a manager as well.
And that's getting the additional 10, 15, 20%.
I think so. And go back to, I think you could see from the get-go that he was trying to get more players in the box. I think that's happened, and you can see that Liverpool struggled against every team who's come to Goodison has struggled against it. When we're breaking now, we're breaking in numbers. So there's basics like that where he's asking for more running from players and running that way, not just running this way.
Well, there was a good article in The Athletic. I don't know if you've seen it or not. But they said that what Moyes done on the Merseyside Derby is he went to Goodison Park with the team in the daytime, and he done a very light session at Goodison. Got them in the lounge, and had a few people around the club who've been there a long time give a speech as to tonight's, Goodison Park's last derby. Here's what it means to me. It means to me son, my daughter, my dad, my granddad. And he riled them up. And he basically said, like, if you lose tonight, there's no shame in it because there's levels, but you kick, you fight. These guys are coming here tonight. And I was reading it and I was getting the goosebumps. I was thinking, if I was a footballer and I was listening to this and I realised I represent what I was representing tonight, and that's so smart. I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
Yeah, it is, and again, I think if you listen to people who've played under David Moyes, you don't hear many people talking about him being this master tactician
No.
at all, but they speak of the love and respect for him, and the fact that he cares and he cares about the clubs that he works for. He cares about the groups of players, and it's the small things that he does that maybe add that extra 5 or 10% that you're talking about, and stuff like that isn't, it's not rocket science. That those types of tactics have been tactics, if you call it that. That psychology has been employed for decades, hasn't it? And probably hundreds of years, going back to the war. That's Winston Churchill stuff, isn't it? It's like just words and
Get in your head and heart.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's definitely done that, because, as I say, there's players on that pitch who are representing us at the moment that I cast off. I'm done with yous.
Yeah.
And now you're going, do you know what? Actually, maybe there's a good person in there. And that's what he's kind of tapping into, the human side of some of them players.
Well, he done that in his first spell. I can think of some players, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there's some players in that first spell when Walter Smith had them, and I just couldn't care less. And all of a sudden, they became important players. And you're like, I mean, where's he been? Is he actually this good?
Sorry, Lee Carsley was awful.
Under Smith, you're right. So Carsley came in. He was a bit of not a
big
gamble.
Part player, £1 million.
One of the last signings under Smith didn't work. Bloody hell. I mean, when he left Moyes' Everton, I was in tears almost. How do you replace him?
Yeah.
And he's sort of doing that now, isn't he, with a few players? We go into Saturday, Judgy, and we're short. We're stretched. And I thought Wednesday would have took it out of them.
I thought it was a step too far, that the Palace game.
And then you go to Crystal Palace and you win. And
it
continues.
Brilliant form as well. Yeah. Brilliant form. And he's on the same last season where they finished like a train toward the end of the season. Obviously, they brought Eze on at half time. They could see that they were struggling against us, but we're just making, and again, it goes back to, as you say, David Moyes' first spell, we're just making it really difficult for teams. We're making it uncomfortable for them. I think you make a good point in terms of the derby. Millsy's passing something to Oliver. I think he's giving him something to play on. Just to keep him entertained. That was meant to be your job, Arabella, but she's neglected it. Sit down, mate.
Just don't drop it, Oliver.
But yeah, he's the team are making it difficult for them to play against. And again, I said it when we were watching the game at the weekends, they're breaking in numbers, so that teams who do push forward and push extra men forward, they're getting caught out, and we're creating chances on the break. Yeah. I mean, I feel a lot at the moment. We're going to get into obviously the players who did get goals and stuff. I feel for Jesper Lindstrom, he needs a goal or an assist.
He nearly got that assist on Saturday.
Because he's doing so many good things, so many good things, and he looks like he's playing with a lot of confidence, but he desperately needs a goal or an assist, some credibility and a bit of an outcome from all of the hard work and the good work he's putting in.
I think it is coming for him. I think he's massively improved. I was saying in January, just sends him back.
Yeah.
Just free alone space up here. And now he's almost become that hard work. And
Harrison has a good game as well.
Harrison's natural position is left. And with Ndiaye, we need Harrison. We need Harrison to come in, and we need Harrison to be the Harrison that he was at Leeds. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like we're on this crest of a bit of a wave of momentum, and I don't really want it to end. It's been that long since we had this. Dyche at times put runs together, and the only time I really felt not happy, but sort of that excited,
November,
was when we got the deduction and they fought back, and the Bands of Brothers,
Newcastle, Chelsea,
Bands of Brothers, then Onana missed that penalty in the cup, and it just went to pot.
Just burst, didn't it?
I just don't want that to happen. I'm praying the Onana penalty doesn't happen here. There's no equivalence of it, because we're looking ahead to Saturday. And after Saturday, there's only 5 games left at Goodison, and we are now ticking down. I don't know about you, but at 17, 16, 15, it went really in my mind. Now we're at 6-5, and I'm thinking there's not long left.
Yeah.
And I'm not only thinking now of Goodison, now I'm thinking, we can go and Harry United. Can we go and have a good day at Goodison on Saturday? Can the team beat United? And that is because of the manager and the players.
It is, yeah. You're not looking at this United team thinking, they could hurt us, they got this player. Couldn't care less about their players. Yeah. Because, you could say that about Liverpool last week, but within half an hour of the derby, going back to it, I forgot about the players. Yeah. It was just their team against our team, and I thought, we're fighting harder, we're running harder. Yeah. And I definitely think on that level, we're better than Man United. We'll run harder, we'll fight harder. will make it more difficult than they can potentially make it for us.
What have you made of them? Because the managers came in, and
They're struggling.
It could be a strength to say
they're
this is how I
struggling
play.
as well. They're struggling
just,
players-wise. Like,
they do not look at it.
No, they don't. And I think where you can really get at them, particularly at the moment, is in the middle of the park. You've got Casemiro pretty much on his own.
Yeah.
And he looks every ounce of his 32 years at the moment. Sorry, it's all right. No, it's okay. Sorry, mate. Nearly finished now.
Nearly finished.
This is hard work. This.
He was on my Play Store, and trust me, I haven't got the money Judgy's got to be on my Play Store. Don't worry, mate. You can come on the podcast a minute, okay?
This is like it's like a forum. This.
We're not editing this. This is going out as is.
Out. Don't worry about
we're raw.
You're not going to be up all night. Where was I?
We're talking United, and I said, don't think they're at it. And you were saying about they've got players missing.
Yeah, they're struggling as well in terms of personnel. But I think you look at them at the moment, and they're at the other end of the spectrum. They're really struggling with the system. They're struggling with the demands of the manager. I don't think they've quite reached the expectations. They're missing chances as well. Clearly, there's games where they could have took more points from them, but again, they look at the absolute opposite of the spectrum. I think they're confused by what the manager's asked them to do. I don't think they're quite up to the level he's expecting. They were unlucky at Tottenham, to be fair. They had chances, certainly, to score one or two.
They grew more into the game, didn't they? Yeah.
They did, yeah. And listen, let's make no mistake about it. I'm not going into this game thinking, we should beat Man United. But, as you pointed out, this is a very different outlook that we've got now going into these games compared to what it was 4, 5, 6 weeks ago.
Someone would have said to you 10, 12, 15 years ago, the last season at Goodison Park, you're almost in March, United at home and you're above them. You wouldn't have thought.
Where are we? Yeah. And it obviously says more about them than it does about us. And you know what? Go back to it. I don't want to go back to the whole Sean Dyche thing, but this position we're in now is all I was expecting this season in terms of like, look, that's just be out of trouble.
Yeah.
Be in there. Don't be like looking down, looking up slightly, thinking we could maybe knock on the door at 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. I wasn't expecting Europe. Where we are now, I'm content with it. Do you know what I mean? I still think there's a few points we need to pick up. Although we've got a 10-point buffer, the teams at the bottom could put a run together. So I don't think we can completely forget about relegation at the moment. But we're certainly now looking up the table and, as you say, looking to try and stretch an advantage over Man United as opposed to catch them.
No, I think you're spot on. We've reached a natural conclusion to the show, so we will wind up. But I do think you're spot on. I think what we're doing the last couple of weeks is we're having a Merseyside Derby without worry and enjoying it. Bramley Moore test events, and we're going and enjoying it, and we're not really worried. We're not looking behind us, and that's all we really expected. We didn't expect to be anywhere but where we are. And
so we wanted, do you know what I mean? We wanted. I remember saying to you at the start of the season, I want to go into those last 5 games, and you've said it, I think probably going back a month or 2 ago. I want to go into those last 5, 6 games at Goodison, trying to enjoy it and not stress, thinking, my God, we need this win. Yeah. Not about Goodison, we need this to stay in the Premier League. If we can get us into these, again, the last 4 or 5 games, allowing the fans to enjoy it, relish it, get behind the team, be positive, make the most of those games, then he's been successful. And I think he's already gone, Moyes, he's already gone a long way towards us achieving that.
No, he has. And Satty's a prime example, because Satty, I'm not going into it going to Ipswich playing at 3 o'clock. I'm just not, I couldn't tell you who Ipswich are playing at 3 o'clock, or if they're even playing at 3 o'clock, because I want to go and beat Man United and kick Man United, put them behind us, because of how their fans have been to us over the years with the Rooney stuff, and let's have a little mini victory there. Let's enjoy it. Let's go out after for a pint. And I'm looking forward to Goodison Park on Saturday. But we have reached a natural conclusion to the family-friendly across the park.
If you could podcast. See Oliver right now, you'd see it's a natural conclusion. He's like flat on his face on a chair.
Oliver, do you want to come and stand with your dad?
Oliver, come and finish it off for us then.
So as Mini Judge stands with his dad, he's going to end us out. I'll give the credits. Thank you as always, Globe Gas and Heating, my man Lee. I'm looking forward to wearing those hoodies. It's great to see still Ryan last night with my little boy. Everyone at Bramley Moore, all the staff, you done amazing. But over to Judgy to end Across the Park podcast. Thanks for watching.
Up the toffees!
Yay! Up the toffees!